So recently, someone on my live stream at twitch.tv/Mark, someone asked me, am I going to be sticking around with Phantasy Star? Now, the answer to that question is pretty simple. The answer is yes. But when I say yes, I don't mean that I'm going to be exclusively playing this game, because obviously there are other games that are coming out, such as Final Fantasy VII Remake, Doom Eternal, Animal Crossing, and various other games that I'm interested in. But what that means is that I'm going to be playing this game a hell of a lot, and I'm going to be grinding this game probably the most out of any of the other games that I play. But let me give you guys some insight as to why I enjoy Phantasy Star, and hopefully as a result, maybe you'll want to pick it up yourself when it finally launches in North America. Now, a little bit of backstory really quick is that Phantasy Star Online has been available in Japan for almost 8 years. It's actually going to have its 8-year anniversary coming up very soon. And with that being said, this game is already established. A lot of players who are already playing the Japanese version of the game probably won't make the jump. And if they do make the jump, it's because they want to be able to play with more friends who haven't been able to make an account, or they just didn't want to deal with the account making process, because what happens in the Japanese version is we have to go through a captcha boss. Now, the type of captcha that they wind up using over in Japan when you go to make your Sega ID is a hiragana type captcha. Now, sometimes that winds up getting skewed a little bit, and one hiragana symbol can look like another, and it does, prevent a lot of people from making an account just on that alone, because it's not like we know Japanese. Now, I've seen videos and I've also seen articles and stuff like that where people have been arguing that this game may not do well in the West because anybody who's already remotely interested in the game would have already played it. And here's my rebuttal to that. The answer is, I don't think so. I don't think a lot of people would have already been playing this game if they were interested in it, because quite frankly, a lot of people who were interested in this game were probably players from the original Phantasy Star Online, back on the Dreamcast, Xbox, and GameCube, or even Phantasy Star Universe. They've probably played Phantasy Star Zero. They've probably played some of the other games, and I'm drawing a blank at some of them right now because they were available on the DS, and I've not played any of the DS titles. But again, I don't think everybody who would have been interested in Phantasy Star has already played this. And the reason I say that is because, again, this was a game that was originally set to release in the United States back in 2012 when people were excited about it. But once they found out that the C release wound up happening, a lot of people's interest in the game wound up dwindling. But now we're getting what's believed to be a complete and up-to-date version of the game, which in a lot of cases, that's almost exciting. This is 8 years worth of content that's being released. This is 8 years worth of content that we might see evolve even further. This is 8 years of an already established game and one of the top online games in Japan. It is reason to believe that if any of the articles and statistics are to be true, and a lot of what we wind up seeing out of Japan is that this game has such a wide player base that's pretty diverse. By diverse, I mean there are people who enjoy the social aspect of this game. Then there are people who also enjoy the actual grind. They min-max, they try to challenge themselves by obtaining every title within the game. And when you look into that, that's kind of exciting. This game may not be everyone's cup of tea, and that's totally okay. But being the fact that it's a free-to-play game in both when it comes out in North America and currently in Japan, it goes to say that, so sure, you could talk about this game might fail, this game may not cater to the Western audience, this game may flop simply because it doesn't add all of the content that the Japanese version already has. There are a whole bunch of things that you can get into. But let's get into what I spoke about at the very beginning of this video, and that's why I play this game. One of the reasons I play this game, though, is because it's a hell of a lot of fun. I always have something that I'm looking towards. I have my dailies, and my dailies I can wind up doing it across multiple characters, because those dailies are actually relevant, and they wind up giving me the in-game currency in which I can then buy fashion. I can then buy new weapon affixes, and affixing is a whole nother process that I'm not going to get into because that's a rant video, because I hate affixing. But anyway, I digress. But unlike some of the other games that after a while, when you've already obtained everything, there's not a money sink, and in this game, there's always going to be that sink. So any time that I put into this game, whether it be grinding a mission for a weapon or grinding it for resources, there's always something to look towards. There's always a reason. With 12 available classes and the fact that I can swap to those classes on the fly, sure, I won't be able to gear every single one of those classes, but I can sure as hell try. And each one of those classes has a very distinct playstyle. It's not like I can go and play an Etoile, which is the class you've been seeing me play throughout this video and the random clips that I've assorted together. But I could play Phantom, I could play Hunter, I could play Ranger, Gunner, Bouncer, Force. You have any of the 12 classes, I can play them. And sure, some of them are probably going to be more fun, you know, for me, but leveling up those classes also gives me something that's available to all of my other classes and characters. So unlike any other game where, like, let's say Final Fantasy 14, let's just use that as an example. Leveling up all of my classes actually gives me some sort of benefit. So for example, leveling up the 9 base classes, I wind up getting stats that are available to some of the other classes that I can then play as well. I realize I say some, but what I mean is it's available to all of them, because what I wind up getting is a title that then gives me a passive bonus. And that's really cool when you think about it. It's so cool, in fact, that even when I pick up certain weapons, I then have the ability to gain titles that'll then say, hey, you've picked up X amount of weapons, now you have main damage bonus up on across your characters. And again, simple things like that make it so that way all of my grind is worthwhile, and not any one of the things that I wind up doing feel like I'm doing something and it's wasted. Now, I play a lot of different games like Warframe, Destiny, Final Fantasy 14, MapleStory, Conquer Online, you name it. I've probably played it at some point or another. And I'm not gonna lie to you, they all have elements in a video game that I enjoy. But I will also then say that none of them have drawn me, or drawed? Yeah, I can speak English, I promise. None of them have drawn me as well as Phantasy Star has. And the reason being is because I can make my character look like anything I want. So far, when I've been playing the Japanese version, you know, over the last couple of years, even though I've only actively been playing for a year, I will then tell you that I've never seen any two characters look alike unless they're purposely cosplaying like an NPC, in which case, then I see a hell of a lot of those. But the thing to say with that is that people cosplaying NPCs, that's something kind of cool, that those NPCs are memorable enough that people have made fan characters, cosplay characters, to say, I really enjoy this NPC, therefore I want to then cosplay as them. But I digress, because I kind of want to get into the last couple of points, or the last point that I'm going to make in this video. One of the reasons why I personally would like to continue and see this game continue to succeed is because it's something that I'm passionate about. I can talk all day long about Phantasy Star, and a lot of my friend circles, because they play other games, they haven't been able to understand things like affixing. They haven't been able to understand the frustrating or the exciting process when a certain weapon drops, or the drop rate. When I get a certain piece of fashion, they used to say, oh, your character looks so cool, but they don't understand why it looks so cool, because it's such a rare item, or something of the sort, something menial, something that's not necessarily important, but still super exciting to share. And I'll finally be able to do that with other people. I think the other thing that's really important to note is a lot of my friends haven't been able to play this game, or have never played a Phantasy Star. And honestly, that's kind of exciting when you really think about it, is that people who've never played Phantasy Star ever before, this is going to be their first one. This is going to be a game that will then shape their opinion of Phantasy Star. And I'll be honest with you, had it been Phantasy Star Universe back in the day, I probably wouldn't have recommended that game. I probably would have recommended something like Phantasy Star Portable on the PSP, or, you know, something along those lines. But I can honestly say that I really am excited, that I really want this game to succeed. And I don't think this video does any of it justice, to be completely honest with you, my excitement for the game. But I can only hope that my actual passion for it at least resonates with you in some sort of way, that maybe if you're already a member of my community, or maybe if you're someone who's looking up to pick up this game for the very first time, maybe you can have the same experience that I did at one point. I would honestly love that. Now, I think I'm probably gonna end this video here. I had so much more that I could say, but I'd actually probably be making an hour-long video in this case, of just me talking about this game and how much I love it. Now, I'm going to continue making guides from the knowledge that I do know, and some of the knowledge that I've picked up over the past year. But one of the things I want to leave off with is, if you do play this game, if you've already been playing this game, if you do play this game and you've had a positive experience and you've thought, oh, I watched this video, please come back and leave a comment. I want to hear about your positive experiences. And if you're already an existing Japanese player, please do me a favor. What is a positive experience that you've had in this game? I know that not everybody has had a positive experience, especially if they tried playing this game way back in, the early 2010s, back in 2012, 2013, when this game launched, and then going forward. But the game has changed in such a way that the community, both the North American Ship 2 audience and then the Japanese audience, it's it's amazing. It's only becoming closer, and it's only becoming more accepting, especially with the amount of weird things that people have been able to do. So again, thank you so very much for watching my video. I know that I spoke a lot, and I know that I've just been rambling on and on and on about random different topics, but I felt like I needed to get a video out there just to be able to share some of this with all of you, right? My already existing audience on Twitch, and those of you guys who watch the few videos that I do here on YouTube. So again, seriously, thank you. Thank you for being amazing, and thank you for continuing to let me share my passions with you. That's all I gotta say, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Stay beautiful. Peace.